Hey, bitch, let it drop right here. You better tell me if you with me. I know the devil trying to stop me. Got these people out here wishing they could pop me. If they want me, come and get me. Man, I ain't scared of none of y'all. The only thing I fear the IRS and God. If you want me, go against me. Nah, they probably better think twice. Got angels over my head, war on my mind. If you want me, come and get me. Well, y'all might as well go ahead. I'm probably more of a threat to y'all when I'm dead, though. 24 years old, my mama brought me to the globe. She tried to tell me it was cold and taught me how to keep the code. Nah. She told me to go to school and get my education. But remember, there's a bias to them books that they been making. Gave me solo nights and taught me about the middle passage. Told me God ain't writing at this. More to life than rapping. I express my opinions, my faith, and my views. If they want to keep me quiet, tell them do it. You better tell me if you with me. I know the devil trying to stop me. Got these people out here wishing they could pop me. If they want me, come and get me. Man, I ain't scared of none of y'all. The only thing I fear the IRS and God. If you want me, go against me. Nah, they probably better think twice. Got angels over my head, war on my mind. If you want me, come and get me. Well, y'all might as well go ahead. I'm probably more of a threat to y'all when I'm dead, though. Once upon a time, God opened up my mind, and He showed me I don't have to be a product people buy. With this God-given wisdom, I can climb out the hole, stay about the system, cause the system never let you go. Speak the truth without no fear. It's gonna ruin my career. I've been a mascot for too long. I ain't come here for no cheers. First of all, let me be clear one time. Let me be real one time. If you want a religious puppet, you gonna have to hang this guy. I've been around the world, seen pretty girls get caged up like sex slaves. Crooked cops done pulled me over, treated me like I ain't made in the image of God, and that's so odd. I'm in Sunday service with a snapback, and if you're hating on me, gon' hate, but if you gon' ride, better tell me if you with me. I know the devil trying to stop me. Got these people out here wishing they could pop me. If they want me, come and get me. Man, I ain't scared of none of y'all. The only thing I fear the IRS and God. If you want me, go against me. Nah, they probably better think twice. Got angels over my head, war on my mind. If you want me, come and get me. Well, y'all might as well go ahead. I'm probably more of a threat to y'all when I'm dead, though. Well, the sky ain't the limit. To me, it's a limitation. Interplanetary on my navigation. You can follow me to every destination. Come on, let me make it plain. Look, I'm just trying to fly with you. Let me tell it, man. Look, I ain't never lied to you. I'ma keep it real. I'ma ride with you. Get the key and peel. If you're getting money like you're getting a wheel, don't fill a base, don't make a meal. If you're hating on me, then you speak in tongues, get a translator. Oh, yeah. If you're flaking on me, gon' let us know I got plans later. Look, I've been trying to tell them since 0405. That's real talk. Still, you know these people doubt me every time. Had an alter ego, but my ego altered at the altar call. Looked up at the ceiling and I heard the angels talking, y'all. What they said. I was made in His image, in His likeness. Fight this if you don't like this. Herbs and spices, righteous. Nothing in the world quite like this. Hold on to it with a tight fist. Prototype this, no matter what your type is. You better tell me if you with me. I know the devil trying to stop me. Got these people out here wishing they could pop me. If they want me, come and get me. Man, I ain't scared of none of y'all. The only thing I fear the IRS and God. If you want me, go against me. Nah, they probably better think twice. Got angels over my head, war on my mind. If you want me, come and get me. Well, y'all might as well go ahead. I'm probably more of a threat to y'all when I'm dead, though.
Yes, indeed, chosen elect family. If they want me, come and get me. If you're with me, we're back on another journey to truth and life, and you are rocking and rolling with your boy, the man, with no fear in his heart at all, because the Most High haven't given that to me. He's given me power, love, and wisdom. And yes, indeed, it is MTAC, Mr. More Than a Conqueror, back at you again with another live stream. I've been trying to, uh, you know, add more contents and interact more with the um, YouTube family, uh, and hopefully this particular topic would be one that will cause your mind uh, to think on some things. The Eighth Amendment of our constitutional rights prohibits the use of cruel and unusual punishment, uh, and uh, these this is what it says. I do apologize for the notes, but it says the Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive bail, disallows punishment that is deemed to be cruel and unusual. This amendment has been used to argue against capital punishment, other forms of punishment over the years. So, I want to talk about enhanced interrogation used as a national security tactic against so called targeted individuals. Now, if you're new to this channel, new to this subject, then I want to encourage you to um, scholar yourself, to study the national security crimes that are taking place here in the United States of America, and of course, across the Western world that is aligned with NATO and the United Nations. There's many United States citizens that is finding themselves victim to the Department of Justice and the FBI, CIA, NSA, etc. I just so happen to be one of those victors. I consider myself a victor, not a victim, because I'm winning and I am destined. We all are destined to win because we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of life. So, um, if you're new to this subject, though, it can be a little confusing. However, uh, it is um, high profile um, individuals that is victim as well. Donald Trump is one of the faces. Now, I'm not sure if that is just all Truman Show skit or whatever it is, but when they raided his home and they tended to raise a double standard on the missing um, the um, classified files that were missing from the White House. They had a double standard because even Joe Biden had removed classified files as well. And the Department of Justice is tending to target anyone that threatens their uh, New World Order agenda. And so there's a hidden agenda that has taken place, and many citizens, law abiding citizens like myself, is finding themselves victim of the Department of Justice national security um, apparatus. And so my name was thrown on a watch list many, many years ago. Now, I'm not sure exactly what prompted the national security um, sector to target me or to view me as a threat. There's a list of things. I often get asked the question, why would they be threatened by you? And I don't have a definite answer. It could have been a report I've done years and years back on 9/11, my investigation on the Afghan opioid crisis, where the opioid epidemic here in the United States did not initiate and become a problem until after they went in to Afghanistan, where those poppy seeds were, and the U.S. military was there, as well as the U.S. intelligence agencies, and somehow it got trafficked here to the United States of America. Now, someone knows what happened. Someone with very, um, well, I'll leave that subject alone, but you can, um, it's not difficult to figure that out. It had to be someone with rank, with high level security clearances, to orchestrate that. No ordinary person could pull that off. You know, if you went to the airport and you said that you are getting ready to fly to one of those countries, right, you would be arrested by TSA before you could get those words out of your mouth and apprehended. So moving forward, many citizens like myself have been thrown on these watch lists, and it could be anything. It could be um, uh, my history of being proactive in the progressive Black movement and being involved in community programs in order to help uh, cultivate, nourish, and grow my people and bring unity and community back to a people that's been targeted and destroyed by the United States government for years and years. I always find the most reasonable and logical explanation here in the Holy Scriptures. I tend to believe that it is based on the spiritual nature of this warfare more than anything. Anytime that one begins to grow um, and act more so in righteousness, then they're going to be opposed by darkness. Of course, this is found in the book of um, 2 Timothy chapter 2, I believe around verse 14. And so I'll read that real brief. Um, I can find it. You guys may be able to put it up quicker than I can actually eyeball it. Okay, here it goes. Actually, verse 12. And it says, yeah, all that shall desire to live a godly or righteous life in Christ, Yeshua or Jesus, shall suffer persecution. So the scriptures tell me the moment that I begin to have a genuine faith in the word of the Most High, and I began to make efforts to apply righteous living, not according to my standard, right? Because many people have their own opinion and ideal of what the right thing to do is, not according to our flawed standards, but against, but according to the Most High's perfect standard and application of righteousness, we will suffer persecution. And so in that answer, I personally find closure and so forth. So the subject title is, and I may actually change it later on, but for now, it is Gaslighting Truman Show isn't enhanced interrogation. Well, actually, it is. It is Nazi communism. And so, yeah, I will eventually change that title to suit the message much better. Uh, but enhanced interrogation is what one experiences while being underneath the scrutiny and of the targeting phase of the national security apparatus. Now, I had both CIA, FBI, NSA, and DHS in on my targeting, and they continue to be as well. Some of the things that they will exploit is minor discrepancies, such as they was real big on and still is on the pronunciation of my name. and so forth. So I a- actually have a video with my birth certificate on there if they need my birth records from the state and hospitals. I have those as well. And so I'm not an illegal immigrant working underneath a false name. My name is um, what my mother gave me at birth. It just so happens to be not American, and I'm proud to be Hebraic. But moving on, it's also, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to read some of the. If you go to the Wikipedia website and you look up enhanced interrogation, you're going to get a definition, something like this. It'll say, if I can pull it up here, just one moment. It says enhanced interrogation techniques. So um, that is ENHANCED space INTERROGATION space TECHNIQUES. So this is a real thing. Enhanced interrogation is the torture that a United States citizen undergoes at the hands of the psychopaths of the FBI, NSA, CIA. And let me tell you, I've experienced the majority of some of the things that I'm going to list here, and a variation of new things, because it's inclusive of the new age technologies, including microwave, electronic weapons, cybernetic weapons, etc. So uh, it goes on to say that it is euphemism for the program of synthetic systematic torture of detainees by the Central Intelligence Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agencies. Now, I had both of those guys, the DIA and the CIA, on my behind, literally. I kid you not. And this is the truth. You can call up to the FBI, look up my FOIA files. My first name is spelled CASYE. That's Y before the E. Last name OWENS. You can look me up. These are factual truths. Um, but it says that these are systematic tortures. Systematic means it's a system put in place. How they're going to torture you. And remember, it's all on interrogation for them to get in. When you're interrogating or reckonning, the goal is to get information, what they know out of them, right? So, targeting individuals, hoping you guys are paying close attention. What you're experiencing is a form of torture techniques meant to get information out of you. So that's very powerful right there. It's also used once again by the CIA and the DIA. Now, the DIA is the military's intelligence unit. It would be equivalent to MI5, MI6 of the UK. So this is also in violation of your constitutional rights. I'll go back into that. The military is restricted from being utilized against the people. The government cannot use militant groups against the people. So, with the DIA, CIA, these groups coming in to perform these enhanced interrogations, known as targeting or gang stalking, torture, it's unconstitutional, it's illegal, and it is a crime by the Department of Justice because they're the ones who are once again approving these atrocities against myself and the rest of the people. Um, so let me pull this back up. So it says in various components of the U.S. Armed Forces, once again, reinforcing that these are military type tactics, are, and it is unconstitutional. I encourage all you guys to get basic level, at least constitutional law books, so you know your rights. You can't stand on what you don't know. Uh, at remote sites around the world. And so Guantanamo Bay was one of the renowned areas where these torture interrogation techniques were utilized. And guess who authorized them? Last night I did a live stream and I asked the question, who authorized the torture, torment, and murders against the people? Well, it tells us right here that they were authorized by the George W. Bush administration. So there you have it. The George W. Bush administration definitely authorized these torture techniques. And then they actually went from George W. to Barack Obama, underneath the Trump administration. I still was getting tortured. I'm not sure if he actually knew what was going on. I, I do remember he pulled 17 top security clearances because they are black operations, which means in many cases, new presidents are not is not privy to the information because there have to be an exchange of uh, in, in, intel, right? Or the data mined um, by the previous administration handed over to the next. And so I'm not sure. I would like to say that he do know or did know, and of course Joe Biden now. They're all aware of these enhanced interrogation torture techniques used against the population, mostly against your boy MTAC. Um, so it goes on to say some of the methods used include beating. All right, and I do apologize, you guys. I don't have a good source to view from because uh, methods include beating, binding, and contorted stress positions. Now, this is very similar. This is what you're going through. So, beatings. Now, I had the CIA and the DIA or whoever, FBI, these federal agents break into my apartment once again when I stayed at 241 Ottawa Bend Drive in Morris, Illinois. That's OTTAWABEND Drive in Morris, Illinois. 241 is the address. Ravine Woods. I stayed at 204, apartment 204 on the second floor. They moved in to apartment 304 and 104 in order to carry out these tactics. They moved my previous upstairs and downstairs neighbors out, cleared out the entire um, complex facility that unit that I was in order to carry out these torture tactics against me. And this is not delusional. These are facts. This is what I actually went through. And so uh, I'm here sharing this, my story with you guys in hopes that what happened to me happens to no one else and that uh, America begins to take this matter serious. Lives are being completely dismantled and destroyed. But once again, some of the methods of the so called enhanced interrogation techniques include beating. I was beat mercilessly. One of those, what they call a good old fashioned government beating. I couldn't walk for a few days. Binding in contorted stress positions that I also experienced. Hooding. Now I didn't get hooded, but I was stuck with injected with some sort of inoculate that knocked me out. That I was partially aware of what was going on. Very little. I don't know what kind of drug that was. The closest experience that I've ever had to that, I had to have an outpatient surgery when I was younger, and they used what do you where they put you to sleep. Um, uh, uh, oh, what is it called? Um, where they take you under. I can't think of it, but they put the mask on you and you begin to fade out, right? That is the closest experience. Now, I'm not sure what kind of medication that is, but it was extremely strong and it acted in a matter of seconds. Um, so they didn't have to hood me. Also, subjugation to, um, let's see, uh, to deafening noises. Yeah, that the noise campaign. So I definitely now the noise campaign didn't just last for a little while. This was like this went on for years, but it was heightened during the initial phases of my overt targeting. They had some machine that had the capability of um, producing uh, some loud frequency. It was as uh, close as someone could get to a dog whistle as as possible without it going to the next hertz where it becomes unhearable by the human ear. It was just some loud whistling noise, and they would also stomp on the ceiling at specific times of the morning. You know, like it was the exact same time every single morning, like 4:13 a.m. They would stomp. It would sound like a marching band, and they would stomp and beat on the walls at 4:13, and then it would subside. So I experienced desubjugation to deafening noises. So you guys can look this up as well if you go on wikipedia.com, enhanced interrogation techniques. Um, the next one is sleep deprivation. I experienced deprivation majorly. I mean, initially, my body didn't know how to respond to it. And I was working as a commercial driver at the time for Schneider Intermodal at 3600 Cosner Avenue, um, Kostner. I believe is how the street name is spelled, but you can just Google it. It's located there in Chicago. I was one of their local guys on a 4 day schedule, and I worked 14-hour days. So I was very tired. And when I would get home, these federal agents would deprive me of sleep. They were also on my job 24/7. I still have some of the records if you guys want me to share those with you. Um, all right. It says to the point of hallucination, like they want to deprive you of sleep so much that you begin to hallucinate. Your mind begins to play tricks on you because this is psychological warfare. The gang stalking is psychological warfare at best. This is when at um, certain points of after sleep deprivation or during the sleep deprivation, they would perform these street theater Truman Show acts or skits. This is when the Department of Homeland Security get involved. and the FBI's informant network get involved. These are the goons, the lowlifes in our communities that have um, some sort of sick ties. If they're in the informant network, more than likely they have a criminal background, and this is part of their eternal debt to the Department of Justice or the criminal justice system. If they're working in other capacities, there are other um, strings attached. But sleep deprivation to the point of hallucination, that is a real thing. And I experienced that once again. It says uh, deprivation of food or nutrition. I experienced that. They would poison my foods so much so I began to starve myself. I lost a lot of weight. At one point in time, I was around, I say 195, 200, like between 195 and 200. I lost over 25 pounds in a matter of months, just um, dealing with the food deprivation. They would break inside my home, go into my refrigerator, poison my food. If I was at, I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but it was sick. I thrown up, had stomach aches that was unbearable, which also uh, aids with the sleep deprivation as well. I remember one night staying up for hours, vomiting and not being able to get any sleep. And then the next morning, they had the agents from my job call and tell me I couldn't call in sick or they were going to terminate me. Of course, I had bills, etc. And I was forced to go to work underneath the duress of this psychological warfare program carried out by the United States government. And I don't know how I made it through. Only the Holy Spirit kept me alive because I was about to die behind that wheel, and somehow I made it through the work day, and I'm still here. So it says deprivation of not only food but drinks, medical care for wounds, and that we can all agree on. You're deprived of adequate medical care, and if you do show up to a doctor's office, they'll have their agents in the doctor's office pretending. This is where the Truman Show comes in. These guys are actors pretending to be someone in that profession. And I've shown up at doctor's offices, even here in the town that I'm currently in, and the West Monroe area. I've gone to Glenwood Medical Center for a checkup because I was feeling sick. And this was several years ago. This was probably 3, 4 years ago. Um, and I actually had, a female friend of mine that actually came with me at that time. And I told her what was going on. She was curious and she wanted to know, hey, is this true? So she checked it out for herself and she was like, you're absolutely right. They have the guy's an agent. He's not a real doctor. And she asked me how I knew. I told her, I had been undergoing this harassment for years. So I'm very familiar with how they operate and so forth. So, yeah, they deprive you of medical care. Let's see what else. It says, as well as waterboarding. Now, I never experienced the waterboarding. Now, that was old forms of torture where they would give you the sensation as if you're drowning by putting a wet towel over your face and then pouring excessive amounts of water over the nose and mouth area. And as you begin to gasp for air, it felt as if you were sucking in water into your lungs. And so I didn't experience the waterboarding, but the other forms of torture that they substituted for the waterboarding have been just as extreme, if not more so. Walling. Now, I'm not sure what that technique is, walling, um, but I would imagine it would be like mm, what I would call boxing, or the FBI's floating box technique, where they surround you on all sides and make sure that you understand that you're being watched. Sexual humiliation. Now, this is all found on the Wikipedia website. I have print offs. If you guys want copies of it, you can email me at voice 144k at gmail.com, and I can forward this to you, or you can just go on uh, the internet and look this up for yourself. So, sexual humiliation, I experienced that as well. And, this was very interesting, how they tried to pull this off. For my sexual humiliation, they actually tried to make it seem as if I was a homosexual. Now, I have nothing against homosexuals. I have something against homosexuality. And I've never been into homosexuality, never even, you know, um, thought about that. But they did use the um, sexual humiliation in a form of like that homosexuality, which just so happened to be the theme of America nowadays. The sodomistic spirits are running rampant throughout this country, but the United States government, for them to use, you know, uh, homosexuality and things of that nature um, to try to torment or as a form of torture. And this is actually here on the internet. It just goes to show that they're sick, psychotic, and demented um, at best. Subjugation to heat. Now, my form of heat came in the capacity of electromagnetic microwaves. So, this particular informatory, not sure if you guys see that, talks about the microwave murders. This is New Age weaponry. So they were able to emit um, frequencies towards my body that would heat it up as if the best. I've never been stuffed into a microwave and had it turned on, but if I could describe the way that it felt, the torment, the torture, it felt as if I was going con- um, to combust. You know, I just completely explode with fire from the inside out, and combustion and internal combustion. And these are new age military grade weapons that do exist. And hopefully, some of you guys um, don't view this as some sort of conspiracy theory. You go do your homework and see if the technology and the weapons that I'm describing exist. And if they do exist, ask yourself a question: who invents something not to use? You don't, whoever invented the mop so they could mop a floor, right? Whoever invented the spoon invented the spoon so they could have a more convenient way to um, transfer food from their plate to their mouth, right? Um, and so forth. So anyone who have created these new age microwave electromagnetic murder weapons, they're using them. They're using them as a form of torture in this national security. Well, actually, it's depopulation agenda disguised as national security. And so I see we're having more and more people enter into the live stream. So welcome on and welcome back to another journey to truth and life. I'm hoping that as I begin to share my personal testimony with you all, that it will encourage you to stand up with your neighbors, your family, your friends in this fight for our collective freedoms. I encourage all you to Google your uh, state representatives for Congress, members of the House of Congress in your area. Get the phone number. It must be listed. This is something that most people don't know. Look up representative for the state of whatever state you live in. Pull it up, and their office number must be listed. Normally, it's going to be a 202 number. That would be their White House, you know, a voicemail. Call that number and leave a brief message telling them about these crimes against the people being authorized by the Department of Justice. Now, the congressional hearings that are taking place are covering these very same issues that I speak of. So it's not a conspiracy. Many congressmen and women have began to step up to the plate and speak up and speak out about this crime, where they are literally authorizing a warfare against law-abiding citizens, um, and so forth. So once again, I encourage you to do that. Also, pick up the phone and call your ACLU. That's your American Civil Liberties Union. And while they're collecting donations, ask them what are they collecting all that money for, getting millions of dollars of grant money if they're not helping the people, you know? And this is what I would encourage people to do because we are indeed in the fight of our lives. But the other forms of the torture includes community decare uh, terrorizing, where they slander you throughout your community and encourage others to get in on the action. Now, the smaller the town or city you live in, the easier it is for them to, you know, do this. Um, and how it's done is they monitor you, right? So this goes against your Fourth Amendment constitutional right, and that would be um, all right. Um, it deals with unreasonable searches and seizures, right? So unreasonable searches and seizures. It expressly states that the people shall be secure in their persons. You should be able to leave your home and feel secure. You should be able to come to your home and feel secure. You should be able to live your life in peace and feel secure. This warfare, disguised as national security, uh, removes the ability for you to feel secure completely out of the picture. So I ask once again, what is the concept of national security if it's not securing the people? I would venture to say that national security is code for nationally securing the position of the wealthy elite. So they want their positions at the top of the food chain sealed, and that's what the national security is all about. So You have the right to feel secure in your persons, your houses, your papers, and that includes your intellectual work. So your them hacking into your phone devices, etc. That's illegal. Hacking into your computers, data mining, all that stuff, that is illegal. Unreasonable search and seizures, um, all this stuff. But I brought your attention to the Fourth Amendment because the way that they carry out the uh, desocializing character assassination campaign is they use illegal wiretaps, stalking, and reconnaissance in order to find out who you have ties, network, social relationships with, and who you're in the process of building those things with. Now, once they have that information, they go behind your back, they make anonymous phone calls, and this is where the slander, the lies, the rumors, etc., takes place. With the internet, deep fake videos, etc., they're able to do this um, in a more eloquent manner and a very sophisticated and tech savvy way. So it don't take much to be able to put things in the atmosphere that would ruin someone's reputation. And so slander, libel, these sorts of things are indeed crimes, right? So we're dealing with members of the United States government committing crimes that they then classify in order to protect themselves. That's another crime. That's called um, subversion of justice, right? When you bury information critical to a crime. So um, in obstruction of justice too. This is whenever they hack into your computers, delete information and evidence that you've gathered. They reset your phone devices, etc. This is called obstruction of justice. So once again, you see why these people hide in the shadows because they're criminals, not because they're doing any deeds to protect the people. The reason why they hide and they don't come out in the open and they're always operating underneath these disguises is because they are Nazi criminals carrying out Nazi torture tactics originally approved of by none less than the, you guessed it, George Bush administration. Now we know that George Bush loved his oil and he would kill to have a sip of that oil at any cost. He would do anything. If that meant sending your children to war to get their heads blown off, and hey, that's the cost of oil. It's no skin off his back. If that meant you needed to go overseas yourself, walk through some landmines, and get your legs blown down to nubs and stubs, then guess what? It's no skin off George W.'s back because him and his family was highly invested into oil. So it's called cronyism, just like nepotism. Look up cronyism. It is a terminology which means that those in who are cronies or buddies, right, invested into a common um, benefaction. They unite over this particular ordeal. I would consider it's very much like, what's the word that comes to mind? Um, oh man, it just slipped my head. Um, but anyway, these cults, so to speak. So this is where these secret cults begin to form, and they begin to do favors. So you have certain members of the Justice Department willing to, you know, be corrupted in order to get their pockets fattened. You have certain people in the White House that's willing to do corrupt things and push for executive orders in order to be continue to be a benefactor. Members of Congress, members of the FBI, the CIA, DIA, and the list goes on. I believe this is one reason why Eric Holder, who was he was underneath the George W. Bush to the first term of Obama administration. He was the Department of Justice Attorney General. So look up Eric Holder. Why did he resign? I know why he resigned, and they're probably going to try to come after your boy for this. But he knew about the corruption. He knew exactly what they were up to. And he decided that he wasn't going to get down with the program of this secret clandestine warfare taking place. And so he said, soon as you get me a replacement plan, I'm out of here because this is corruption on a whole nother level. Go. I'm telling you guys what I know. This is the truth. Eric Holder, the reason why he resigned, and if you're watching this video, I know why you resigned. You know what I mean? Because you found out the same thing that I found out about what's really going on behind the curtains of the Truman Show and who the actors and orchestrators truly are. And fortunately, it got me thrown on a targeted list. Uh, anyway, these tactics are rooted in Nazi Germany um, and so forth. So there's lots more that I could explore. I would. I plan on doing a live stream later on for those of you who wants to ask questions because I get a lot of questions on cybernetic warfare and things of that nature. They wants to know about the technologies used in order to you know read someone's brain waves and to introduce the signals for this new age warfare, this cybernetic or brain computer to brain interfacing warfare. This is actually true, and so forth. So uh, later on, I do plan on doing a live stream, and I'm hoping that you guys can get your questions together. So if you have any questions that I am able to answer, this is that'll be the moment uh, you can actually do so. So emotional syncing, heart rates through this technology, the different waves, the delta, theta, alpha, beta, high beta, gamma waves of the brain. And these are also variants of a particular, uh, you know, circumstance, right? Now, these different type of variants, which causes one to need boosters. It's deeper than one thinks. So that is directly related to this new age movement and agenda where they're moving toward interfacing the human bio with nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, etc., with these supercomputers where they're able to fully monitor and control the thought processes, behavior, emotions of every individual on the planet. It is the new form of slavery, and this is why, once again, I do encourage you all um, to call up your local um, politicians, your state representatives and senators, leave a message, flood their voicemail, and say, hey, I'm concerned about the Department of Justice and national security protocols. What would it take for someone like me to be thrown on these watch lists um, and have their lives destroyed at the hands of these mercenaries of the FBI, NSA, CIA, DIA, Department of Homeland Security, etc. You know, these are real matters and with real casualties. And so, yeah, looking here, it says people sometimes do report that large doses of the non addictive drug, for example, LSD, the LSD was invented by the um, uh, research sector, the pharmaceutical research department of the CIA, and um, homeless people, poor people were kidnapped and injected against their will with that drug. They said they were trying to find a truth serum for enhanced interrogation, which go hand in hand with the subject today. Look up LSD. Just type in LSD CIA scandal in Google and find some credible sources. This is what happened. These are court hearings that took place. They would, um, if you were a single black woman walking home, CIA would pull up in a white van, jump out, grab you, and toss you in the back with put that ether around your on the napkin. And next thing you know, when you wake up, you're in their laboratory, their basement, being injected with this drug. And guess what? They're still doing it today with more sinister, enhanced drugs and weapons, may I add. And they're subjugating many to sexual torture and humiliations, etc. Um, well, that's pretty much it. Uh, Till next time, you guys continue to keep your boy MTAC, Mr. More Than a Conqueror, in your prayers because my life is real. This story is real, and we really need to do something about it. I can't do it alone. I need the Most High's help, but I'm also needing yours as well in order to destroy this beast. Till next time, you guys continue to stay woke, and if you're not woke, wake up so you too can be blessed. But your boy MT AC has got to be his out.